Welcome back to another episode of Two Idiot Girls. Ooh. How are you doing this week, buddy?
So far, not so good.
The moon's doing something to us. You know what it is?
Man.
It's our cycle sisters.
Yeah, that too. Also, I just hate the rain.
Yeah.
I hate the rain.
The sun's out right now, which is pretty exciting.
No, thank God, because I was like,
please don't go, please don't go.
yeah, I literally was like, I'm gonna have to get one of those sunlights, like a fucking animal. That's gonna be my enrichment time in my enclosure. Is
just sit with my sad light
just
on.
sit in it like this,
Yeah,
in front of it, wish for it to heal me.
Yeah, no, really.
I compared it yesterday. Also, too, I was thinking about this because I was like, why I feel like I've been so like in a weird funk the past couple days. I'm like, what's going on in the stars? Right. That's what I was thinking. But then
I literally always blame the moon.
Yeah, easily.
It's almost because Mercury's in retrograde.
Yeah. Well, then I was thinking, and I like kind of talked about this a little bit and it made sense. But like we were like nonstop traveling for like 3.5, 4 weeks. And then I did
it's so hard.
It's a first world problem, but it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
And then I worked all week last week. And then at the end, I haven't had 3 full days of nothing. And I can't even tell you how long. I don't even remember the last time I had.
That's why on Saturday, I couldn't believe that you were still in your cave. I was like, you've had 3 days.
No, literally 3 full days of doing nothing at all. Like no working out, no leaving the house. Only changing out of like sweats into new sweats. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, after you shower.
And I was like kind of comparing it to, you know, when you get like, sometimes you get massages and then you feel sick after because it's like they're pushing all the toxins out of you. So sometimes you feel a little nauseous and that's why they like have like water and all this shit and like steam and stuff to make you feel better. That's how it feels. It's like, it feels like shit and then it's better on the back end. Like once you come out of it, you know what I mean? So that's what I was comparing it to. I was like, okay, that was my shiatsu and then I'm done now. Like I gotta come out the other side and I'm gonna feel better because I had the rest, but then it just felt like icky. I don't know.
Yeah. It's also kind of intimidating knowing how much shit you have within the next month.
Oh my God, I know.
Like the first couple weeks of March, I was looking at it
it's
just a little wild. I'm not gonna lie.
Just insane. I was thinking too, I was like, maybe I'll go on vacation in March. I'm like, I don't have fucking time for that. I have too many things.
There's just no way to plan it and then be like, wait, hold on, there's just one thing.
No, I know. That's why I'm like, you know. So, nature of the biz. All of which is
I'm super grateful for.
Yeah, all of which is a champagne problem. Okay. This isn't me trying to like, woe is me, everyone feel bad for me. But it has been weird the past few days. The vibes have been off.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why I'm like, what's going on with the stars?
Everyone's
like,
vibrations, they're down here.
Yeah, that's why it's like I'm raising mine. Follow me, join me, because I can't feel like the only one who cares. You just can't. I refuse to feel like this anymore. So. Anywho.
Did you watch The Last of Us last night?
No, I didn't. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you what happens?
No.
I know. I'm just kidding. I cried.
I'm sure. I cry every fucking episode.
This one was gay in a different way.
Again? Sapphic? Mary.
My silence is speaking volumes.
Well, good to know. That episode with Nick Offerman that everyone was so emotional about. I obviously watched it finally and I caught up.
No spoilers,
but I totally got why everyone was so emotional and that made me feel emotional. But I was thinking like, the one thing I will say is like, I felt like it was beautifully written and beautifully ended. That's how I felt with no spoilers.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's how I feel like every episode is like such a like, by the way, I sent you a TikTok. It's about The Last of Us. Did you watch it this morning?
You sent me a lot of TikToks this morning.
I did because I was on the Stairmaster and that's what I do when I work out. I watch TikToks or YouTube videos.
Have you seen those
like an
girls
iPad
at
baby?
The gym? They buy those little like Bluetooth remotes so they can watch TikToks without having to swipe with their finger. And it's like a joystick.
Oh my God, I need one because I'm literally like keeled over out of breath and I'm like swiping. No, but it was this one guy First of all,
Oh wait, the white guy, right?
yeah, the one with Bella.
Yeah.
Talking about Bella Ramsey.
That was actually a meme before the show even came out.
By the way, Bella uses they them pronouns, correct?
I think they use all of them.
Okay. Well, I'll use they them just to out of respect, because I don't know what their preference is. But I was watching it and I was like, I thought the same thing because I felt like I had seen some people talking about that on Twitter. For those of you who don't understand, the context of the joke is like, some people were saying, I just feel like Bella doesn't look like
Ellie,
the character Ellie.
And mind you, this is a video game. And so it's not a real person.
And in the video game, Ellie is a child.
Yeah.
Like she starts as a child, she grows up to an older child, but she's still like a child.
So she's like 14 when
for the
starts.
majority of the games.
Yeah.
So like the guy's like, yeah, I just feel like Bella doesn't look like Ellie. And then like he goes, well, I mean, yeah, like I guess Bella looks a little older than like what.
But I'm not gonna
hone in on it. I mean, they do look like a child. Like they do look like a teen. And they're like, no, that's not what I mean. And then it's like the end of the joke is that they're like, well, I just feel like Bella's not as hot. And then he's like, what? Like Bella's supposed to be a child in the game, or Ellie's supposed to be a child in the game and in the show.
Yeah.
And I saw the top comment said, Bella looks just as much like Ellie as Pedro looks like Joel. Like, they don't look anything alike. Neither of them do.
Well, I mean, even if you look at that one, Joel and his brother Tommy, they're white men in the game.
Yeah, I know.
They pick Latino men to play them in
I
this.
know.
And guess why? I mean, even more so, his daughter Sarah.
Yeah,
she's black in the show.
Yeah,
in the game, she's white.
Yeah. That's what makes me laugh. There's just someone who's like, Bella looks as much like Ellie as Pedro looks like Joel. Like, who gives a shit? Who cares?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They just ruin everything.
I'm so glad you brought up Pedro Pascal. That's a great segue. Everyone has been tagging me saying that I've been converting everyone. You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I like about him the most is that he seems really funny.
Yeah.
He seems like fun and a good time to like talk to and stuff. Cause I watch like his lie detector tests. Like I watch like the clips from it.
I get tagged in that exact video every day.
The one where he's like, do you look up yourself on Instagram, like fan accounts? And he was like, yes.
Cause I said, do you think you're a heartthrob? And he goes,
I guess. And he's like, do you look up Pedro Pascal fan accounts? And he's like, yes.
When you're sad, yeah. They go, which one's your favorite? He goes, Pedro
Pascal fan account. That's funny. Yeah. He just like me for real.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Even Carrie, she texts me. She always tells me, this is my best friend Carrie. She was like,
yeah.
I don't get the hype, whatever. And then yesterday she texted me.
Even I got the hype. I get the hype.
She texted me because I don't think she's ever watched him in anything. She's only ever seen him in The Last of Us. So
she's never watched him in Game of Thrones?
No, she never watched Game of Thrones. No.
Oh, what?
No.
Tell Carrie to watch Game of Thrones.
She said it's too much. Anyways, last night she texted me a picture of her TV and it was the lie detector interview, which I know he's wearing that hot pink sweater. That's how I know what video it is.
Yeah.
And so she texted me a picture of her TV and she said, "Okay, I get it." And then I told her another good one is he did a Wired autocomplete interview with Oscar Isaac.
I remember that one.
That was a good one too.
He's a perfect example of like someone who, I mean, he's not a bad looking person by any means. He's a very good looking dude. Like he's tall relatively, but he's really smart, really funny, really talented. And he seems like a really sweet person. And like, that's what drives the points out of the fucking park.
Well, and everyone on my TikTok saying you having a crush on him is the number one indicator that you're a lesbian.
Just like she was a Joe girl, I felt like that was indicated.
My friend told me from college, she was like, I find Pedro Pascal really hot too. She goes, and which is awful because I am a lesbian. Yeah. And then I was like, yeah. And then she said, it's kind of like I had a crush on Jason Segel growing up. And I was like, what the heck? Me too.
Yeah, that one I never got.
And we couldn't stop laughing.
Other than him being so funny and tall.
I think we just tend to, like, if I'm going to be attracted to a man, it's going to be one that no one else is going to want. Do you know what I mean?
I guess.
Like conventionally. It's either it's too conventional or it's so unconventional it doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. It's like opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like two extremes.
Yeah. Like it's either Travis Kelce, Chris Evans, or it's fucking Pedro Pascal.
And even then, that's why I said like it's the energy. The energy is what makes, I think, lesbians like him.
Have you ever watched or heard of the Lesbian Master Doc?
Yes, I have.
So everyone's been telling me to read it on my TikTok, and I have. It made me more confused. So, and I've also heard don't quote me on this, that it's from a white lesbian perspective. So that's something when y'all are suggesting things to me, we need to look through that lens always.
That's also true. That's also true. As are most things in this life.
Because it talks about comp het in it.
Yeah.
And then they were telling me, I mean, if you're only ever attracted to famous men you'll never meet.
Yeah.
Then you're probably a lesbian.
Well, your compulsory heteronormativity was glaringly obvious with how many crushes you had.
Oh yeah.
I never had any. And I'm straight.
Yeah.
And you had 2 million. And if you got rid of one, you would replace it almost immediately.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's sad is I think that's why I'm like kind of depressed right now, because I don't have one.
That's a whole nother thing. That's a different
Sorry,
thing.
that's because I'm mentally ill, not because of my
that's a different thing.
My sexuality.
And that's also not true. You have a crush. It's just not a normal person crush.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Like you have crushes. That's what I said. That's your compulsive heteronormativity.
See, the more things and opportunities you start to get, I need to be more quiet on the internet about who I have a crush on, because I feel like
why? Fuck it.
We're gonna end up running into people.
Let it rip. Who cares?
Let's light this candle.
At this point, let it rip. Who gives a shit? At this point, it's like we're all having a good time,
and we're being silly.
I said nothing but nice things. So
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
I guess.
I mean, Brittany does it all the time.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't want to be.
She's walking proof that it will put you in doors that you'd always wanted to be in.
You're right, you guys. Let's spread the word. Let's get out there and tell the world.
Well, it's the same thing in the sense that it's like it's all fun until it's not.
Yeah. I was joking.
When the bit goes too far. Yeah. The bit goes too far.
No, literally. We're doing a part 3 of Ask Us Advice questions.
Yes.
Our goal of this episode is to hit 5 of them. Okay?
We shall see. Stay tuned.
At minimum, we usually get 3. I want to say the last episode we did 4.
I think we did 3 last episode. Okay.
Well, don't quote me on that. Don't run back the tape.
I don't know. Run it. Let's see. Okay. I'm wrong every time, so maybe maybe that time I was right.
I like how Drew with her whole chest says, "Run it back." She's always wrong. One of my favorite comments.
My perception is my reality. So technically, I could gaslight you and me into believing that it did happen.
Okay, so we're gonna do more questions. Mm-hmm. All right. This first one's from Nico. They said, "What are some ways to boost productivity for creative projects?" Well, don't ask her.
Don't ask me. I'm the worst person to ask. Like
boost
with that. Me personally, I'm just a procrastinator. Don't you hate when people make that like a big thing in their personality?
Like, literally everyone is.
Me, I'm just a procrastinator. You don't want to do work? Yeah, that's not exclusive to you. Like everybody wants to do that.
Not me. I love doing work. I was going to say, speaking of procrastination, I know that mine is rooted a lot in how I think other people will look at me. / like I don't want to mess it up and it looks stupid, if that makes sense. So like every Monday, I'm not even joking, I am always editing. Yeah. You would think, I've been doing it for a year now, that I wouldn't drive myself to almost throw up when I have to edit. But every Monday for a year now, I do it. And it's because I'm nervous because I think it's going to come out bad, even though I was there when we filmed it. Yeah. And I know it came out good. Yeah. So what do I do to boost productivity? I mean, I set timers for stuff a lot too. I've seen that on TikTok where they're like, I'm going to set an hour timer and then I can't stop what I'm doing until I'm done. Yeah. I try to open up all the blinds in my house. So I have a bunch of whatever sunlight or light that's outside is coming in my house. Yeah. When I'm editing. Because that's like the most creative thing I would say I do is probably edit.
Yeah. That can apply to all kinds. I just think like, I don't know how you operate, but like for me, like my environment's a big indicator of my productivity. Mm-hmm. So like if my room is a disaster, and it is, I tend to procrastinate a lot more. Same thing with my house. If my house is messy, if my office is messy, I am far less likely to be as inclined to do work as I should be. So I think your environment's a big indicator. I think it can play a role. So sometimes what I do is I clean up and light candles.
Yeah, that's a good
I
set the scene.
Yeah, I clean up, light candles. I make a fun drink, like a coffee or something.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And then I make it a point to go sit in the spot where I'm supposed to be working. Right. And so like if I go there and I sit on my phone for 20 minutes, at least I'm there. So then I'm like, oh, what am I doing? I need to get to work. And then I'll literally start working because I'm already there.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
But if I lay in bed, then I know for a fucking fact I'm not going to do it because I haven't changed my scenery. So like my therapist told me that once about if you feel like overwhelmed and anxious and stuff to do a hard reset of your environment.
Ooh.
So wherever you are. So like if you're like, I was having a nervous breakdown one time because I was having like, I had like 3 panic attacks in a row. It was so bad. Anyways, I was like, I need like a hard reset. Like, so I stood up. I didn't finish what I was doing. I stood up and I went and I stood outside, like in my backyard and just stood out there. Like, I went to the grass and like I stood in the grass and so I could feel the grass. Like it's literally like just a hard reset. And then I just like closed my eyes and I stared up at the sun. And then I felt better. And then I was like, I calmed down, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back in the house and I'm gonna finish. And then I went and I finished. So sometimes it's an extreme parallel, but that helps. Like,
yeah, you know, like a shock to your system. That's really good. Yeah. Or I'll be like, I'm gonna take a shower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that. Or go stand outside for 20 minutes, like you said. It reminds me of that SpongeBob episode about procrastination.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get another glass of water. Maybe I should go do this. Oh, I haven't cleaned that in a little bit.
That's why I literally remove myself from where I'm at and I put myself, even if I go like from my room to like the living room.
Yeah.
Or I go from the living room to the table. Like I'm just moving, hard resetting my environment so that I'm like, okay, what can I do over here? What was I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
And then it's much clearer for me to be like, okay, I should work since I'm sitting here, and then I'll do it. Even sometimes I'll just sit at my counter on like my bar stools. Like I'll just go sit up there in the chair and then I'm like, well, since I'm here, might as well do some stuff. And then I start working. So it's almost like tricking your brain into like doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Productive.
Yeah, literally. That's what I would do. But I'm, just a procrastinating girl.
You know me.
You know me. Classic.
You know what I be doing.
Classic me.
Okay, this next one's from Gwen. She said, how did you guys become more comfortable dating as bigger girls? I'm a plus size gay girly trying to get over my insecurities as I'm entering the dating pool.
Okay,
there's a couple of lenses here. So like with dating, that's one. And then dating as a gay, that's a different one.
Yeah. Here's
what I will say about dating as a queer, right?
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know how, like
far and away less than men heterosexual
so I
relationships.
think that's something too. You need to think that a lot, me included, a lot of how I look at myself is rooted in misogyny.
Yeah.
And and it's not even that I want to be approved by men. Do you know what I mean? Or validated?
No, it's just the lens. It's almost like you were born with these glasses on.
Yeah.
And it's like, you get old enough and you realize I don't even need these.
Yeah.
So you take them off and it's like when you have reading glasses, it's like, are they for reading or are they just for show?
Yeah.
And they're like blue light glasses. Like, do they work? I don't know.
Blue blockers.
Yeah. Like, do they actually work or is it just a statement piece? I don't know. But I don't need them either way. So you're like, I don't even need glasses and you take them off.
Yeah.
That's what the lens of, talk about compulsive heteronormativity.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it. Compulsory. Sorry. I said compulsive. Compulsory. What I will say is this. I was never a stranger to how I was built and how it was different from white women. I've never been a stranger to that. Our
whole lives, yeah.
I've been violently aware of that for a very long time, especially being as tall as I am. Yeah. Like I've been big my entire life. When I became an adult, I filled out too. So like, I hit puberty pretty young. We both did. So that's never been a secret. What I will say is I never counted myself out. Like I never thought to myself like That's not to say I've never been insecure. I just have never given men enough credit to be like, well, he wouldn't date me because I'm big.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
that's you.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
My point being like, I understand that's like a very specific lens that I have, but it's because I've unpacked like my internalized misogyny and stuff like that. I wasn't born that way. That's just where I've come to it, especially when I started dating. Because I've always said I stopped being a pick-me once I hit like 17, 18. I really started unlearning or unpacking, even if it was subconsciously, my internalized misogyny, because there was a fuck ton of it in there. And that was part of it. Part of it was like counting myself out because I'm thinking about beauty centers that were created by white men to only fit white women. So like that's part of unlearning it, is understanding that like your body shouldn't be playing a factor regardless. But if it is, then you don't want to be with that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know. I just think like, I think it's unfair to us as bigger girls to be like, well, I have to be conscious of being bigger. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have to be so violently aware of my body when men don't feel that way? Bigger men don't act like that. They don't feel that way. I mean, they may feel that way. Some of them might feel that way, but that's not imposed on them. It's imposed on us. It's like my responsibility to be like, by the way, I'm bigger. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair to me. So I feel like when I started dating, I put that burden down because I was like, that's not my responsibility to like tell you, by the way. Like, it's almost like you have to warn them. You know what I mean? And I just felt like, for me, if one thing about me, I'm never going to do what men tell me to do.
Yeah,
so like
literally ever.
That felt like they were telling me what to do. And I was like, fuck you, I'm going to do the opposite. So like, that's just how I've seen it. I think I've just carried that with me, but I've always been very aware of my body and how it differs from like a Eurocentric beauty standard.
Yeah, what's like stereotypically.
Yeah. I think, and Dason's right too. Like the aesthetics of the relationship is literally such a heteronormative like behavior. Like you see it so clearly when you start to be exposed to other people in different relationships that vary in different genders and sexualities, gender expression. It's very different for everybody. Like that's such a straight person thing. And I think it's because it's been imposed on us for however long.
It's so similar to, if you look at like how people treat Sam Smith.
Yep.
And their fashion choices.
Yeah.
They're like, cause like if like, I hate to use this person, but if like Jeffree Star wore that, they would be like, wow, slay.
Yeah.
But you're racist. But Sam Smith isn't racist. They're just fat.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, that's disgusting.
That's why I said, as like bigger people, it's like our responsibility
to make everyone
feel comfortable about what we look like. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially when you sit at the intersections of oppression, like the further down it goes, the ladder, like as if we don't have even enough responsibility at that fucking point. You know what I mean? Is what I think. So, I mean, I just like being comfortable with it is like, if you're thinking that way, you shouldn't be dating yet. That's my honest opinion. Because I feel like you should focus on you. Like focus on you, loving you, no matter what you look like. And that's why I talked about like the last couple episodes, like not taking pictures of myself anymore, not measuring, like weighing myself.
I was gonna say, you need to be doing, we talked about that a lot last episode. I always look at too, like if you're hanging out with queer people, well, first of all, are you hanging out with other queer people, like friends?
Yeah.
What do they look like? I always think
that's a good point.
Like when Drew's like, do you think this person, would like me? This is like a social media person. I go, they don't have any brown or black friends. And
when I say like me, I mean like do you think like, are they cool with me?
Yeah, do they fuck with their content? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you think they like my content?
Yeah.
And then I go, they don't have any brown or black friends.
Yep.
And all their friends are skinny. So no.
So no, probably not.
All their friends are white and skinny.
And that's a great point. That's why I said like where you sit, I just feel like it plays a factor. Like who you're exposed to. That includes people like your friends and then like the relationships they're in too. And how they talk and act around other people who don't look like them. All of that plays a factor as to how you see yourself. And you may not think that at the time, but you'll realize it. So that's why if you're feeling that way already, like you're feeling like I'm so violently aware of my body and it being perceived in the world of dating, I would focus on you to start, because I feel like it sounds so, we say it all the time and it's so cornball to say, but like
fucking cornball.
But you gotta love you, and you gotta,
like RuPaul, what does he say?
You gotta love, or if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love someone else? Yeah. It's true though. Like that's just how it is. And I feel like don't let the men get the drop on you.
Don't let the fear of striking out
that's also applicable.
keep you from playing the game.
That applies.
Don't work at a diner. Don't
diner girl. I just don't think that it has to play a factor. It doesn't. Not to say it won't in the terms of societal context, but you shouldn't let it affect how you see you, is my point. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's from Sam. This one's kind of fun. Ready? She said, I'm taking my boyfriend to Disneyland for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
What do you recommend I take him to? He's from Hawaii and he's not a huge fan of roller coasters.
Well, I don't know what to tell you then. Just kidding.
Don't take him.
How exciting, first of all. Second of all, let me think.
I don't know how old this is either, so they might have already gone, but hopefully not.
Oh, yeah. Well, just kidding.
That changes everything.
Okay, well, let's just say you hadn't gone. He's not a big fan of roller coasters?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like Indiana Jones is a good mix.
True.
It's not a roller coaster.
That's a roller coaster.
No, it's not. It's a spirited drive.
Don't listen to her.
It's a bumpy drive.
No, I would say the Rise of the Resistance.
Dude, there's drops in that ride.
I know, but it's smooth. That one, like, it's like lifting you out of your chair.
It's just bumpy. Anyways. Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean's a good one.
If he likes to have his back soaked, make sure you take him on that one.
If he likes to have big wet spots on his ass the rest of the day, highly recommend.
Do not skip that ride.
Highly recommend. You could do Haunted Mansion. That one's real chill.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would say It's a Small World. He's chill. That one's cute. It's a classic.
I know all our favorites.
Offensive to an extent, but you know. What are you gonna do?
Are, roller coasters. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't go on many slow rides. You could do the rides where you fight against each other, like you compete against each other. Like you could do like the Buzz Lightyear one. Like it's not a roller coaster, but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's interactive.
It's like an arcade game. Yeah.
I would just say to get, first of all, go on some chill, fun rides that are like iconic, right? Like Haunted Mansion or Pirates. Try the churros. I would say to eat a lot. Like get lots of save your stomach space, right? For good snacks, because they got lots of sweet treats and fun stuff to try. If you want to drink, you got to go to California Adventure. Or
you could drink in the bar that's in the Star Wars area.
Oh yeah. But if you want to carry it around.
The cantina.
Oh, I guess you could do that too. There.
No, at the bar you can't leave with it.
Oh, see, yeah, so if you want to walk around with your beer,
you want to drink. Adventures.
Yeah, you got to go to California Adventure. I'm like, not to stereotype you, but is your boyfriend a big fan of Heineken? It's a big local boy beer. They got those.
No, they don't.
At California Adventure, they do.
They do not have Heineken.
Sure, they do.
They have craft beer.
Oh, you're right. They only have IPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. That joke doesn't hit. Never mind.
But they have a Monsters Inc. ride in there. There's an aerial one. I'm trying to think of
those are all in California though. She said Disneyland.
Oh, you think just Disneyland?
I guess it doesn't matter, huh? They have lots of chill rides that are not all roller coasters. But if you want to try a roller coaster, if he only has one in him,
do Indiana Jones.
Yeah, in Disneyland, or do Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it goes like an elevator. That one. So
that one drops a lot. So, but I'd say take lots of pictures. Make sure you eat a lot. Eat as much as you want and as you can.
Yeah.
And buy a souvenir if you can. At least one.
Get some ears.
Or a fun sweater. They have some real cute sweaters and shit.
The merch is nice. So
yeah, it's super nice. So, but have fun. That's so much fun.
I know.
It's a lot harder for us to recommend with someone who doesn't like roller coasters. But they have lots of cute little rides though.
Yeah, there's plenty
for everyone. Yeah.
Okay, this next one's from Charlie. This is probably the question we got the most, and it's on burnout and overworking yourself.
Okay.
So Charlie said, how do you guys not overwork yourself? I'm graduating a year early, so I'm completing a lot of work in a small amount of time. And I noticed that I tend to overwork myself, but then I feel guilty when I take breaks. How do I not feel guilty? Love you.
Well, first of all, are you a Virgo?
No, Aries.
Dang. Is there any Virgo in your chart?
It's Aries, Sun, Leo, Rising, Cancer, Moon.
Well, that's why you feel bad, but I just want to know about the work ethic. There's got to be Virgo somewhere in your chart. Anyways. How do you avoid it?
And you're like, I don't know. When you find out.
Yeah, you send me a tip if you... Honestly, I think it's unavoidable especially if you have a goal. If you're a real goal-oriented person, it's unavoidable that you're going to work really hard and experience some sort of like, you're going to hit a wall. I would just say
I was going to say, I'm really good at noticing, me and my mom are really good at noticing when Drew's burning out.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, or so is Billy, because obviously Billy lives with her. So it'll be like day 3 of her in the cave, and he goes, hey, let's open the blinds and go outside for an hour. You know? But how do you not overwork yourself? I think just making sure you take intentional breaks. So like, let's just say you have a bunch of shit you have to do. Yeah. Schedule in like an hour break where you go get coffee and walk around, or you sit in silence. I love sitting in silence for at least an hour.
Me too. My therapist also told me about doing things that yield no result. Yeah. That's still considered a break, right?
Like a hobby. So because I'm getting into gaming.
Yeah, because I'm a real goal-oriented person. Like I needed to yield something because I feel like otherwise it's a waste of my time because I could have used that time to work on stuff. Mm-hmm. That's how I see things. So in learning that, like not everything has to have a purpose. Not everything has to have a goal or an end result. That's how you should feel about work too. You should also think again, cornball city, but like life is so short. You're never ever going to be on your deathbed and be like, man, if I'd only finished that assignment, if only I'd finished it. Like you're never going to feel that way. What you're going to think about is all the things you missed out on because you were so convinced that you had to work to get to a certain point. It's like that. It's also like a very capitalist mindset that we all have too, I think. Being very like work is production and production is good, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is void of context. And the context is literally life, like living your life and enjoying your life and having fun. Yeah. And relaxing and feeling joy and doing things that bring you happiness that aren't always tied to work. Something else that helped me a lot too, which Jason actually helped point out to me, was severing my worth that was tied to my work. Yeah. That's a huge thing for me. I struggle with that terribly. Like
that's why when you're not working, you're like,
you feel like
what's
shit.
The point? Yeah.
Because my successes and a lot of my merit, I feel like I was drawing solely from my accomplishments. So like my job, my schoolwork, right? Like graduating, all that stuff. Which is, it's not a bad thing that you want to do that and that's a goal of yours, but it becomes a toxic cycle when you are like, I'm not worthy unless I'm proving that I deserve to be here, which means I need to work 24/7. Yeah. Right? So working on that, like severing the tie between your worth and your work, like there doesn't need to be a correlation. You know what I mean? You could just be really, really good at your job or really, really good at school. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you're inherently a good or bad person depending on the result. No. That's why I've told you all that I don't have hobbies. Like Jason has hobbies because I'm so jealous of that. I'm trying to work on it, but it's because my worth has always been tied to my work, which is a bad thing. So I think I would work on that. And then like Jason said, intentional breaks, right? When you are taking a break, being present in the break. I do that too, where I'm like, well, I'm relaxing and I'm still thinking about work.
Yeah, or emails.
Or I'm still doing shit like on my phone. Sometimes stillness is really underrated.
I'm telling you.
Doing nothing at all and just sitting is a very underrated thing.
Sometimes when we come back from Drew's show, not even all the time from that, but like the last week or so, I think it's because my anxiety's been really bad. Yeah, I think it's because my period's coming.
Same.
So sometimes I just put on my headphones and don't listen to anything.
I've done that.
And I turn on the sound canceling and then I'm like, it's my quiet time. No one talk to me for at least an hour.
Yeah, that's why I said the beauty of silence and doing nothing at all. Like sometimes I make a joke where I'm like, they're like, what do you do on your off days? I'm like, I lay face down on the ground and do nothing. That's not a joke. I've literally done that.
Yeah. Squid just walks around.
Yeah, he sniffs my head so many times that I get irritated, and then I get up and I sit upright on the couch. But sometimes the beauty of stillness is more than enough relaxation time for you, like doing nothing at all.
Not even for an hour. You do it for 10 minutes.
Like 10 minutes, dude, I'm telling you. It will almost like re-inspire you. You'll be like, wow, I feel good. I'm going to go back to work.
Yeah.
It happens. You can't avoid it, but you can diagnose it. Like you can get better at diagnosing it. But yeah, I know you got work on that chart somewhere. I stand by that.
This one's from Maggie. She said, I want to know how you guys started going to therapy. I've been wanting to go, but I don't know where to start. I went to therapy for the first time in 2020. I tried 2 different ones. I didn't like it. And then I didn't go again until the end of 2021, like in November.
Yeah.
Because I was going through it. I mean, to be honest, my breakup kind of like I feel like painted me in a corner where I'm like, I have to go now. Like I've always known I needed to go, but that was like, I have to go now.
Yeah.
I like couldn't emotionally process anything that I would like properly or healthily or effectively. Yeah. Without having gone to therapy. Yeah. And I still go. I've been seeing her for over a year. I told her our 1-year anniversary. Look at us. Who'd have thought? But that's what made me want to go. I mean, and what sucks is I probably should have been going. I know I should have been going before that. What could I avoided had I gone earlier? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm glad I went.
Yeah. I started going actually last year, end of last year. I'd say like November-ish, December.
You went before Black Adam.
Oh yeah, I did.
So
I did.
I think October.
October of last year. Again, I had been wanting to go. Dason actually inspired me a lot to want to go to. If I'm being honest with you guys, I didn't think that I was really like, I didn't think what I now know to be my mental illness, I thought were just quirks. Like I was like, I would think to myself, like, I feel like that would be me taking up space in a situation where maybe someone needs it more than I do. And it just became really clear to me over the course of like my career and then seeing Dason in her healing era and everything, for me to understand that literally everyone can benefit from going to therapy. Literally everybody. And there's no shame in it. And there's also no qualifications. Like there's no like you have to be this.
Yeah. Mentally sick.
Yeah. You need to be this like traumatized in order to go. Which I think really kind of helped me come to terms with going. I also last year, I think over the course of like, especially my career taking off on social media, it just became very clear to me that I needed to go to therapy to handle, not even like when I say that, people are going to be like, oh, that means the hate's getting to her. No, it's not for that.
I wish it was. Yeah.
It's literally,
that makes sense.
It's literally not for that. I need to go to therapy because of my crippling, like work ethic, like it being tied to my self-worth and like my anxiety and my depression, and how they manifest. Like my mental illnesses are almost all like, it's me unpacking why I feel the way I do about myself depending on the world around me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I say that with an asterisk because it's only the people that I care about within my circle that affect like how I see myself. And I feel like I've unpacked a lot of things about how I see myself in the eyes of me and also in the eyes of the world. Like how I feel like people have perceived me versus how I would like to be perceived is a huge thing that I'm working on in therapy. So I think this platform has really pushed me to understand that I need to go, because even though I know deep down, I'm not a bad person, when you hear a bunch of people telling you that you're a bad person over and over and over again, it starts to like noodle in there a little bit. And I'm smart enough to know, like, if a fucking bigot's telling me that, you can eat shit. Yeah. But believe it or not, a lot of the people who hate me, they're not all bigots. You know what I mean? And so that kind of stuff would like mess with me mentally so severely because I just care so deeply. Mm-hmm. So I feel like going to therapy was a way for me to like kind of unpack why I feel that way, unpack why I hold it so dearly, like why to the point where it like cripples me emotionally, that kind of stuff. That's my Cancer moon. she wilding out sometimes. So but like all of that to say, that's what inspired me to go. Mm-hmm. And then you know, just being in the public eye a lot too, it weighs on you, man. It's heavy. It's heavy to be someone who's constantly being scrutinized, talked about. Yeah. Anything of the sort.
If y'all ever get to watch, want to like see a documentary on what that, not that Drew's life is anywhere near these people's, but the Billie Eilish one on Apple TV.
That was a big one, yeah.
Especially because she was so young when she started.
Yeah, hers is crazy. I'm like, I can't believe she did that when she was like 15.
Like what social media was then, like when she's 15 compared to when I was 15.
Yeah, literally.
So I would say watch that one, and then even the Selena Gomez one.
Selena Gomez is okay. Again, not to align because we're two different people, and she's had a long, illustrious career, far before me, and she's much more famous than I am, and all of that. But watching her in that documentary, I was like, because it's literally how she acts and how she feels, and like, you know, like her like constantly being worried that it's not good enough and things like are not good enough and all that kind of stuff. I was like, she just like me for real. So I had already been going to therapy before I saw those. So I just feel like it was time for me to start taking care of myself mentally. Mm-hmm. Put a little like cushion underneath my brain in case it gets to be too much, because sometimes it gets overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Doing this for a living gets hard. It gets overwhelming. Like it really is. And anyone who says it's not is either hasn't been doing it long enough or isn't for real. They're not being for real about it. That's why, again, I cannot stress this enough. Hate does not get to me. That is not what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of expectations in the air and things like
that.
So.
Yeah. It's like the pressure of it all is what can start to like really push down on you after a while. So, cause I just what I would love at the end of the day, my ultimate goal is for everyone to feel empowered and encouraged and to feel loved and to find the love that I feel like they deserve. Mm-hmm. That's all I really want and care about. So if I feel like that starts to become jeopardized, that's when I get anxious. You know what I mean? So that's what inspired me to go. How you get started to go? Honestly, for me, I asked around. You know, I talked to Dace, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then I text some of my other friends and I asked them like, hey, like,
where do you go?
Do you guys have any recommendations? And the only reason I asked these very specific friends is because we've talked about it before. Yeah. Extensively. I've talked to them about it. And some of my friends who have been in the industry longer than me have told me, like, literally when I would tell them about like my stresses or things that are happening that I'm worried about or whatever, they would ask me, are you in therapy? And I'd say no. And they're like, you got to get in therapy. If you're going to do this, you got to get in therapy. They all recommended it to me. So, man, were they right? So, I adore my therapist. I love her. Mm-hmm. And I think she is so great. And she listens to me talk about the most nonsensical things. I know. She just listens to me yammer on for like an hour.
That's like the worst part of the therapy appointment. Just the first 35 minutes. It's just me going, and then this happened. And then, okay, wait, that was Wednesday. Okay. I recap every single day for her.
Yeah. I've made this joke before, but I'm like, my therapist is so sweet. She's like the nicest lady in the world. And she literally, I'll sometimes make jokes, and I think she like knows that I do it when because I'm mentally ill. So like that's how I cope with things. Like I find it funny, but it's not actually funny. Yeah. So when I would make jokes about shit that were very serious, like she would not laugh. So I'd be like, ooh, tough room.
Yeah. Or I'd be like, and I'm like, yeah. Or she like doesn't let me talk shit about people. Like I'm like talking about someone I fucking hate. And I go, yeah, she's a fucking bitch. And she goes, no, she's not. And I go, whose side are you on? Yes, she is. I'm like, yeah, she is. And to her, I almost said her my therapist name. And she goes, well, maybe she's like, you know, I'm like, no. So that doesn't make her a bad person. And I go, yes, does. Yes, does.
You're like, whose side are you on? That's why mine is just, that's their literal job, is to be the voice of reason for you. And like, I've told her, I'm like, yeah, I like was like yammering for 40 minutes, and then she listens to me, and then she'll offer her perspective here and there. And then she go, so like, you're telling me this, and I'm assuming it made you feel like this because of what you said. And I go, yeah. And then she goes, well, what do you think drove you to feel that way, considering the context, right? And I was like, girl, I don't know. That's why I hired you.
Yeah.
And she kind of laughed. And then I was like, I got you. And she goes, Drew, come on. And I'm like, I was just kidding. Just making a joke. I don't know why that makes me want to feel that way. It's like, well, if I'm being honest, I don't know why that makes me feel that way.
I don't know.
And I was like, girl, I don't know. That's why I hired you. I don't work here. That's a big joke that we make. Inside joke.
What?
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Me forgetting everything. And no, I meant like in the bits.
Did you look at? I sent you, I think it was a tweet. It was either a tweet or a story, but it was from that Katya posted a text conversation between her and Trixie. Yeah. And Katya told her, girl, why do we repeat the same stories and act like it's the first time we've ever done that? And then Trixie goes, I don't know if you were going through I can't remember what Trixie
She's said. Like, I don't know. I think it's just me refusing to listen. Something like that.
Yeah. I think you're doing it and I'm not listening to you or something like that. But it makes me laugh because Trixie's a Virgo too.
Period.
So that's why you do that so much.
Trixie is one of the funniest people I've ever met. Yeah. Like easily one of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life. Mm-hmm. She is exactly who you think she is in real life.
Just as funny, just
as funny, and just as mean.
Yeah. I know. I was gonna say sweet. She was sweet.
She was very sweet. She's a very good person. Yeah. She's a bitch, and that's what I love most about her. Yeah. She's just so funny. Anywho, what were we talking about? Therapy. Oh yeah, I was saying, I don't know. I don't fucking work here. I don't know.
You aren't. Am I the therapist now?
Why don't I put on the glasses then?
Let me share my screen.
Yeah, it's funny. Another joke I made to her once that kind of made her laugh was like, I was literally sobbing to her about stuff, and I was like crying, like literally for an hour. And then she like unpacked it for me. She's so gentle with the way she talks to me. She unpacks it for me, and then we talk about it. And then I was like, man, like I was like crying, like my face was like swollen from crying, and I was like, you should do this for a living. You're so good at it. Me acting like we're on.
Have you ever thought of being a therapist? You'd be really good.
Me acting like we're on FaceTime.
I love that I can always count on you, girl.
Thanks for answering my call. That's why I love her, though. She's great. She's so great. She never lets me talk shit on anyone.
She doesn't. And she's so positive. It pisses me off. She's like Poppy in Trolls. Yeah. And I want to be Branch. Don't say that. She's a good person. No, she's not. Anyways. Don't piss me off.
Don't piss me off. For real. That's their literal job though, which is the
no, I know.
Point. That's what's so infuriating about it. Is like they have a point, but I don't want you to make it to me right now.
Okay. I haven't cried on therapy in a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Last time I didn't. The time before I did. Well, that's not true. I did cry last time.
Joy, every time I go to talk to her, it's like the same three things. So, I always recap my entire week. I know that drives her insane. But I have to because I forget, like, when bad things happen to me, I just forget about them. I'll be like, wait, okay, what day was that? Thursday. Okay. And then on Friday, and then she's always like,
she always asks me, how was your week? I'm always like, yeah, good. Sometimes when I see her, I'm like in the waiting room like 25 minutes early because I'm like, I need that dog day out.
Are you getting on?
Hey, I'm on. Just letting you know. No rush. But
Ready when you are.
No rush.
But I still expect to only be charged for the hour.
No rush, but I am currently on. So
and already crying. So
I'm ready.
Hey, just wanted you to know I've already cried twice today. So
just a heads up, I'm coming in fresh. I'm coming in hot off the press, bitch. I'm coming in raw for real. One time I had like just the worst week, and I talked to her she let me talk for a little bit longer than I'm supposed to, because she could just tell how fucking horrible everything had been for me. And then at the end, she had told me like, I have some homework for you, because she'll give me homework sometimes. And then she goes, my homework for today is I want you to do something that takes care of yourself, whatever that is. She's like, maybe it's making yourself some tea or watching your favorite show, or maybe it's just showering or something. And which felt pointed. And then
because it looks like you could use a little bit of that.
And it's because I had told her like, when I'm depressed, I don't even bathe, which is normal. It happens.
What? That's gross. I do that too.
And she's like, and then I want you to text me and tell me what you did. And I want you to write down like why you know that you deserve to be here and why you deserve to be happy. And then like I had just finished like being inconsolable. Like I looked insane, like the way I was crying, because I was just so upset. And then I had stopped and we talked for the last like 20 minutes. And then she did that at the end. And then I like couldn't stop crying like after I hung up, because I was like, she cares about me. She wants me to be happy. And she, whether or not it's real, I think it is. But whether or not it is, she makes me feel like it is. And that's all that matters. But I was just so emotional after she told me that nice thing at the end. I'm like, God, you're so good at your job. Thanks for calling me, girl. We just constantly pretending it's just FaceTime. It's like a running bit. Anyways, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Therapy has changed my life. And Dason can attest to that too.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we'll do one more. Ready?
Cool.
This one's from, I want to say it's Alisa, Alisa. And she wants to know, what are some tips you have for romanticizing your life?
Romanticizing your life?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. I don't know. Because like in what context? Like
I think of like when people go to like the bookstore by themselves, like and getting a silly little drink while you're there. Like that's what it means to romanticize your life, right?
I don't know.
Hold on. Let me Google it.
I think you're right though. It's like romanticizing little things, I think.
Okay. So Google says to romanticize your life, it means to focus on your own goals and achieve them. Romanticizing your life allows you to embrace changes, learn new things, and helps you grow into yourself.
Well, I feel like a big part of it we've already talked about in a different context.
It's a form of mindfulness, which all of us need to be doing.
Yeah. Also, I would say manifesting is a big part of romanticizing your life. Yeah. Vision boards, big part of it.
Yeah, remember that one person that did one?
Yeah.
And they had the picture, our tour picture on there. So cute.
Vision boards are a big one. The tip we gave you guys last time about writing something down that you love about yourself that is not tied to your looks at all, that we got from Alicia. That's a big one. Doing any form of self-care, whatever that may be, that you are ready and willing and capable of doing for yourself. So whether that's like skincare, kind of like what my therapist told me.
To take care
Showering,
of yourself.
to take care of yourself.
Washing your ass.
Look, washing your hair.
WikiHow has a bunch. It says make a fancy morning beverage. That's
Boy,
us in the morning making our Nespressos.
Yeah, one thing you could do is like things that are considered non-negotiables, right?
In building a routine?
In your routine, but they're things that are for you and yield no result at all, but they're non-negotiables. You have to do them every day.
This will help with burnout, romanticizing your life. I'm just
that too, yeah. Like making your fancy drink.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm going to make, even if it's, I would like it to be in the morning, but if it's not, it's going to be later on in the day.
I romanticized my life the most during the 2020 stay-at-home order.
Oh, no, seriously.
I think everyone did.
Yeah, because then it gave you the freedom to explore things that you've never had time to.
Yeah.
So non-negotiables in your day, maybe that's like reading like 10 pages in your book, or setting aside time to read, or making your fancy drink.
Yeah, this one says wear your favorite stylish outfit.
Yeah, dressing up.
Perfume.
I love perfume.
Yeah, doing your makeup. I only wear makeup on special occasions or when I feel like it. And sometimes when I don't feel good about myself, I'll do my makeup.
Yeah. Like non-negotiables, right? That's what I'm saying. Things that you're going to do no matter what, and they're purely for you to spark joy, and they're not for anything else. Like nothing else, but you make them a non-negotiable because you and your happiness should be a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
That should be something that you never, ever, ever compromise. And sometimes we do just because life happens. But I think that's like key to romanticizing your life, probably.
Yeah.
Is
just taking little, it's
taking care of yourself.
It's all shit in here that we already said. Read a book, go on a walk.
Oh, look
take
at
a
us.
bath, sleep in silk sheets and soft pajamas. You guys, pajama sets might be my new thing for 2023.
Oh, pajama sets.
Pajama sets. They have like little silk ones at Target that aren't that expensive. Just get one set.
I actually saw those. Yeah. I saw those on
my mom bought me
TikTok.
a pair for Christmas.
Cute. Yitty has some great ones.
Yeah, that too. Learn a new hobby. Look, this person's knitting.
That's decent.
I'm gonna get into rearrange your living space. Drew said to rearrange your space.
Yeah, rearrange your space, like hard reset.
Practice daily gratitude.
That's a big one.
Affirmations. We've
See?
been giving you tips.
Look at us.
Are you writing these down?
Look at us.
And then they have on here a lot to go do something by yourself, like go on a walk, go on a movie date. This one says create a curated playlist for your life and has this girl dancing.
Oh yeah, like listening to your favorite music. That's a good one. Like even if it's just like you're just playing it in the house while you like do stuff.
But sometimes I like to put on my headphones and listen to music at my house. It's
that's
a
always
different
nice.
experience.
Yeah, that's always nice.
And then I'm cleaning or
then you clean or you read or some people can't listen to music and read. I love doing that, but you could like I don't know, do a hobby. Like they said, you could
color, you could draw.
It's literally, I think the key to romanticizing your life is to take care of yourself. Yeah. And to like spend time with yourself and to love yourself and like be mindful of how you're feeling, what you're in need of. My therapist talks to me about that all the time. Like making sure your needs are constantly being met is a huge part, I think, of taking care of yourself.
I agree.
So
there you go.
Anyways, not to say I'm a genius, but I guess I'm a genius.
You should be a therapist. Thanks for coming, girl.
And then I pull my mask off and I'm my therapist.
Ew, that's good. Okay, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Two Idiot Girls.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed it. We are still kind of musing on what our next topic will be.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
But you'll see it on the Instagram per usual.
Yes.
If you liked this episode, you can listen to all episodes of our podcast anywhere you can stream podcasts, and the video version is always on the YouTube channel. Yes. But other than that, we hope you have a great week and we love you. We actually did 6 questions this time, so
Look
suck
at us.
it.
Look at that.
Bye.
Bye.